All right, guys, we are live in 3, 2, 1, and we are live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Checked In podcast. I am truly happy that you guys are here. I know you guys could be doing anything else on a beautiful Friday, but with that being said, you're here and you're listening, so thank you for that. If you haven't already, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification. Is that what it is? Notification?
The noti bell, guys.
The noti bell today. But again, guys, thank you so much. We have an incredible guest today. And Dom, would you like to do the honors?
Yes, today we have JFlow with us today. A very, very special guest, a good friend of mine. As you can see on the screen here, we got his book being promoted. This fool. Please let us know. I mean, honestly, for me, I want to know what an inspiration was for this book. I know we're getting right into it. It's just I'm so excited to hear you talk about this. I've been your friend for a while, and I really, really want to understand what the mentality was and like what it was that got you into something like this.
Yeah. So first of all, thinking about there's two ways that I really looked at this situation. Mm-hmm. One was my passion for education. Period. Mm-hmm. Like when I thought about what transformed my life, it was information, right? And we live in a world where a lot of people like to gatekeep information, maybe out of greed, maybe out of whatever reason, right? They want to keep their position of power, and they don't want to let the little people, get into the door. So I really started thinking about like, what is it that we need? We need solid information in order to be able to elevate and evolve as human beings. And I was one of those lucky people that through living my own life, I was able to come across just my lived experiences. And a lot of these lived experiences are things that I put into the book through lessons. Like our number one lesson is embracing your trauma. And, that's key because like we strongly believe that if you don't embrace the trauma, you don't try to heal, then when the bag does come, you're just going to blow it. You're going to blow it instead of making something better out of it. Right. And number two, I was also thinking about I'm doing podcasts. I'm doing all sorts of exposure, but I don't have a product. I don't have a product that I can actually kind of put out there. And not that I'm going to like be able to like make an entire living right now off of a single book, but I became really intentional about walking into places with some value. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. And, for me, it was writing a book. For a lot of people, it looks in different ways. There's a lot more lucrative businesses out there. But for me, my book was really about like education to empower. And then number two, having a product that I can like walk around. And like I eventually like started pushing my book out of the trunk of my car. And so it's this really dope feeling, bro, that no matter where I went, as long as I had my book, I'd have $15 for sure.
Heck yeah, dude.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's. I believe it can be inspirational not only for our generation, but even for a younger generation who gets their hands on this book. I think that it could be, like you said, it's a knowledgeable book that will help you along the way in life. It's going to give you these goals and even just help you figure out what you need to do. And with that being said, how has that helped you along with your community, getting involved with the community?
Damn, bro. So I've been in the community, dog, since, forever. Mm-hmm. Because you played football at Downey and I played football at HP, and that makes you love your community, dog, because you do it for the community, even though nobody else gives a damn.
No.
Yeah.
But we do, right? But it creates this like, it roots you firmly in your streets, in your people, and it kind of just makes you feel so like firmly rooted and loving in what you do. That like just that aspect of the beginning of like my love for the community was there. And then from there I started coaching, right? And then at 19 I got involved with Organizing Beyond Barriers, which is basically this organization that teaches you how to unionize a workplace from the inside. So I was 19 years old, just a random ass fool, from HP. And now I'm getting all this intel on how to be a spy, right? How to organize people from within. And so a lot of this, bro, it just triggered my, I guess you can say, like my revolutionary spirit,
Okay.
right? So from there, bro, I ended up becoming a teacher. And so like I've been in the community for a long, long time. But now what the book has allowed me and Angel to do, it's allowed us, bro, to really travel to different school districts and have an opportunity to meet with At Promise Youth.
Mhm.
And At Promise Youth are basically like the foods that don't have chances. Like the
Okay.
foods that are always getting suspended, the foods that are always in the dean's office,
Yeah.
the foods that are getting expelled,
Yeah. Might
and
be
so
on
on
the
and so
wrong
forth.
path or something like that.
Yeah. So now, bro, like I guess my book has really allowed me to elevate my opportunity to expand all sorts of opportunities. But like I guess in the community, bro, like just last weekend I was at the LA Times Festival, and my book is one of the books at the at USC campus, LA Times Festival. And so at this point, like I'm kind of like a professional writer.
Hey,
Right.
man, I was just about to ask you about that too, about that whole LA Times thing, and like what kind of experience that was for you.
Dog, it was lit. It was
I
lit.
can imagine,
It
bro.
was
That's prominent, man. That's that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, dude. Especially as a foo, right? Especially in LA, like that's something that top of the level even back then to today, it's still as like prominent as like, dude, I made to the LA Times, like, you know, all that stuff. Like that right there
I
is
got
sick.
published, bro.
Like that,
you know.
not everyone can say that. You know what I mean? And as much as, you know, Instagram and everything kind of gives people the idea of like I'm published, it's more of that like, how can I say it? That acknowledgement of like, yo, like it's not just me that is seeing what I am pushing out there. It's other people that are acknowledging it, and it's like, dude, they get it, and I'm so happy for you guys, for you and your partner, for you guys to actually be in the LA Times. That's actually so sick, dude.
Yeah, well, we got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
right.
understood.
Start with like whatever avenue you have, and like, dog, when I wrote that book, I had zero expectations.
Mhm.
I had zero like dreams.
Mhm.
I was just doing it because like I love doing it.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I was asking you earlier. Like, do you love this shit? Because like if you love something, bro, like no matter what like the outcome is, like you're gonna be happy.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, bro. Like I chase happiness. I chase things that make me feel good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So would you say writing would be like one of the main like outlets for you?
It's writing, you know, football,
Yeah.
like, you know, being active, bro. Like, cause you gotta be active here,
Yeah,
and you also gotta be
it's a
active
muscle,
here.
man. It's a
You
muscle.
know what I
You
mean?
gotta train it.
But going back to the USC and like, you know, something really cool that came out of that was that, bro, like I was surrounded by like genius and brilliant brown educated women.
Oh,
Like there was women that graduated from Harvard, Cornell, Stanford, SC, UCLA, and we created that space right there at USC where a lot of these fools were like, yo, when I was at the university, we would struggle to create these spaces where like it was basically a cool zone for fools to be.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And even being like an educated fool is kind of complex because like when you're in the hood, like you make sure that you kind of police what you say.
Right.
Cause then everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
shut the fuck
what
up.
are you talking about?
You know what I mean?
Bro, sometimes it's like, bro, they'll look at you the way that you speak or whatever, your lingo and stuff like that, and they'll hear you try to really make a point, and they'll be like, man, you hear this guy?
They're
Just
trying to make
because of
something
how
of
you
themselves.
sound, sometimes they'll look at it and be like, bro, what are you talking about? But for us, you know, we all grew up in the hood. We all grew up in certain areas where people may not look at it as like they might look down on it, and happy that you guys are actually, you know, created that and have the not only like, I guess you could say, the whole Chicano spirit type thing and everything like that. Like everything that you guys are creating is just dope, and I'm happy that you guys were able to create that at USC.
Yeah. I'm telling you, for me, like it's inspirational. Even like I said, I've known you for so many years, and like I look up to you, dude, because you created some things and created avenues, and I believe that you're gonna be way bigger than you are even now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I 100% back that, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to see what else you have in mind. Because if, like you said, if you're thinking about writing another book, I can't wait to see what it is. And if you don't mind me asking, you know, what are your thoughts on another book? What do you think? You know, what are your backlays for it? What do you think you're gonna be?
Now, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No,
before you
it's okay.
continue and you get into that thing, I have to ask you: can you create one that has pictures? Because I'm a little on that side. You know what I mean? I'm a visual learner. That would be pretty cool. A comic book for foods.
Okay,
you know
so
what I mean?
so check
That'd
this
be
out.
pretty
First
cool.
of all, I have a homegirl that was saying, yo, we need the audiobook for this food.
Oh, bro.
So first, right? So
Do
there's
it,
that
bro.
lane. We need that.
Yep.
It's important, bro. I'm not gonna have like a white guy fucking speak. be the voice person for this food.
That'd be amazing though. That'd be hilarious.
Bro, I'd be surprised. Or actually, I would really encourage what is it? Food's Gone Wild and Little Mystery.
Little Mystery.
Dude, imagine having them on that. That would be actually pretty crazy.
Now, I mean, those dudes are brilliant, bro.
The way they went about it. But dude, you are too. You wrote a book that is actually changing people's lives too.
Straight up, bro. Like, there's so many stories about that. I mean, I won't get into, but like, damn, what? There was something we were talking about. Right, as far as
I mean, if you can do a picture book, that'd be pretty great.
Yes,
yeah.
And I would love to consider that, or make kind of like, because
I know you said your homegirl
make an adjustment,
make
an adjustment to this food,
and
make it just kind of turn into a picture book in a way.
Dude, I'm telling you, cool. I'm all for it. Yeah. I'm here for it, especially since I'm a visual learner. I know you said you're a teacher, so you have those.
I used to be a teacher.
Oh, you used to be a teacher.
I mean, I'm a dean now, but you know.
Oh, whatever.
We're still in the world of education.
Well, then you're well aware that some students can sit there and look and learn, and then some have to really be involved in their work, and some just like to lay back and listen to some audio. So there's a variety. And
you slept in class?
Oh, every day,
bro. I was a combination of all of them. I slept in trick class every day. And in Spanish class, I talked every day. And let me see, what was the most interesting class for me? Maybe like English or football, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
See, science. Mine was science. Even though I never took, I didn't take school seriously. So I never got.
You still graduated, food.
Hey, that's all that matters, bro. My mom used to tell me, she's like, if you don't graduate, I'm breaking your fucking legs.
Well, the good thing is that you're walking.
The motivation worked, bro.
It worked, dude.
Man. Sometimes all it takes is a mother's word.
Yeah, dude, a little bit of love too, but that's what worked.
How was, if you don't mind me asking, how was being a teacher? How was that for you?
It was a beautiful experience, bro. I started in Watts at Jordan High School on 103rd in Alameda. Shout out to the Bulldogs. It was a dope, super lit experience, bro. Cause like I was right in the hood, and that was like my passion. Yeah. That was my dream. Cause like I said, I was transitioning from organizing labor, which to me was kind of feeding into like my revolutionary spirit and like fighting the man, that type of shit. But then I had to make a real crucial decision. I was like, am I going to stick to organizing labor, or am I going to keep pushing this battle in a better way, in a different way, working with youth? And so then I was like, okay, then I made the decision. I'm going to become a teacher. And then I asked myself, but where? I was like, it has to be in the hood, because if I'm really about what I believe, I'm not going to, anybody could go teach kids that are emotionally okay.
Yeah.
Anybody. But not everybody has the power, the skill, the knowledge to be able to go into a class where 90% of your students are dealing with some type of social, emotional trauma, with some type of level of poverty, with some some level of like homelessness, you name it.
Right.
And so it becomes this very difficult dance. And I did that for 6 years. And in my final year, I was tired. I was like exhausted. And I was like, bro, I can't do this no more. Because I would go in, bro, and I would like show out. Yeah. Like with my voice, I'd be loud and fucking, I'd try my hardest to be able to get you in and care about you and all that. And then I was just like, well, it's not going to be sustainable. And then I transitioned to dean, and being a dean is a lot more like more freedom. And I still get to impact like the foods and shit.
Hell yeah.
That's dope, dude. I mean, if I can ask you, as far as for the dean situation, right? Like, what would you say is, obviously you said you have the freedom and stuff like that. I'm sure that gives you the opportunity to get creative and do anything else outside of school.
Hell yeah.
But as far as for a dean, like, what is those, like, I guess you could say the responsibilities of a dean for those that don't know?
Yeah, so my main responsibility is maintaining safety across the campus. And on top of that, I'm also responsible for maintaining a dope culture in school. So that looks like me wearing a lot of different hats. It's really difficult to really like balance, because like I'm the main disciplinarian on campus. So a lot of people end up kind of feeling a type of way about me naturally. But at the same time, those are the same people that 10 years from now, they're going to be like, damn, dog, like you really like tried to make my dumb ass really think about this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I do it, bro, from a place of like love, and like sometimes with certain kids I could be a lot more real. Bro, like I've had some conversations about like real levels of trauma, and being like, look, man, I know that your home is full of violence, and I know that now you are being a violent fool, but you don't have to be the same way that your dad was. You know what I mean? I've had big badass fools in there crying and shit, and it's just like, to me, that is this is why I feel like a rich guy, like a rich man, because I mean, my bills are, I can't ask for better. I mean, you can always ask for better and do better,
Right?
but all my stuff is taken care of, and I get to like pull up to work and like really impact the community in a cool way.
Yeah, it's not a job for you, is what you would say. It's it's more something that's like, dude, I get to do this. This is what I do for work, and I enjoy it.
And it's funny that you said that, because it kind of reminded me of that Bob Marley quote, which is when people ask you, do you feel rich? And it's not necessarily your possessions. It's more of how you're impacting and stuff like that. So that's actually really cool that you said that.
Dude, I love that quote.
That's so sick.
In my second book, I quote that.
Right on.
I quote that. And it's important, bro. It's important for us to break down wealth.
Right.
Break down richness. Because most people are under the guise still that, like, if you're not a millionaire or a billionaire, like, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
Right.
But in reality, I've met rich people who don't have any principles. They're trash as humans. You know what I mean?
Because they only have one focus, which is money. I get that. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? It's funny that you say that, because coming from those conversations, some of the realest conversations I've ever had were from people that had little to nothing. Yeah. And when I say realist, and when I say that, I don't mean that lightly. I mean that with all seriousness, because although they may not have those possessions that everyone else has, that everyone thinks that establishes you, that they actually have gone through some stuff and have overcome those things, that truly they have more insight on real personal experiences that could truly affect others. But just because of their finances and things like that, or whether they were good with money, bad with money, whatever the case may be, or just, shit luck, they have some experiences that most people could learn off of, but because of their environment, everyone kind of brushes them off, because they're like, what do you know? What do you know? Right? Look at you. What do you know? But essentially, those are the people that I've had the realest conversations with and the most impactful conversations with. And and I find that very interesting, because it's kind of goes to what you're doing. You're impacting a community where they don't have much. They don't have that look as far as for possessions, or I might be fronting by getting these shoes or whatever. But in reality, it's like, those are the people that have the realest conversations, the real impacts that you're making with those people are just extraordinary to me, in my personal opinion, to be honest.
And,
so that's actually
like
pretty cool.
And like you say in your book, it's the trauma part. They've been through that. So I believe that builds the character for them to even have the courage, or even, just the wherewithal to understand when they're talking to somebody that, man, I can be real with this man or woman, whoever you're talking to, and just reflect on what my life has been through, and even, try and have those reflections on somebody else. And I think that's big as well.
Yeah, dude.
Fire emoji. For sure. But you know what we do have? We have cultura.
Yeah.
We have culture, bro. And that shit is beautiful.
Yeah,
that
bro.
Shit is beautiful, bro. Even like the carne asadas and the hangouts with family. Mm-hmm. Bro, some people don't have a clue what family feels like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like that close knitness, it's just a beautiful thing, bro. The sounds of the music, the food, the women, everything, bro. You put everything together, bro, and that shit is like it's a whole amount of cash flow.
Yeah,
that you got to learn how to utilize. Yeah. And like obviously, like I've utilized it definitely as one of the key frameworks in the book, because I flipped from Spanish to English to Spanglish, and it's part of like the culture. Yeah. And so like you gotta be proud of like where you're from, man.
No, yeah, bro. And you know what's crazy, bro? Growing up, a lot of people, I would say before, not so much now. I think so much now people take a lot of pride of where they're from more than they did back then. I would say, because growing up, you would be like, man, I don't want to speak Spanish. People are going to make fun of me. People are going to, I'm going to feel embarrassed because I'm speaking a different language. They're going to look at me different. And now it's like, it's more socially acceptable and people want to learn the Spanish. Or for example, like right now, if you listen to music, the culture of music itself is literally people that speak Spanish. And it's crazy because you even have hip hop stations that were literally just straight hip hop, like the Tupacs and everything like that. It's like that is now playing Spanish. even if you go on Power 106 and 92.3, all that stuff, it's like you'll hear that. You might hear Drake, of course, but you hear more of the Spanish culture. And it's crazy because when going back to what you were saying, it's like a lot of people don't understand family and they don't like have that family aspect. And some people, I guess you can say most do realize that blood doesn't make you family. But I think the thing about being like Mexican or just someone that comes from the Latin roots, it's just like, dude, we're very socially like open to people, and we love communication. And I think that is like the most beautiful thing that we have, because that literally helped open doors, because we were able to get together, kind of like how you're doing with the unions. We get together, you got unions, you got people together to really have those conversations and say, hey, what is it that we need to do? What do we need to do to get better? And it's crazy because going from the unions to what you're doing in the schools and to what you're writing in your book, it's like it's all linked up for you in that aspect. And it's crazy. It's really crazy that just because you had that idea, you're doing literally, and I guess you could say what the Spanish culture is, which is communication. And in my personal opinion, like that is key in everything. And not that many people have that. And I'm happy that at least our community has that. And that right there to me is perfect. Especially what you guys were saying as far as for, bringing everyone together. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, like I'm telling you, it's your life's interesting, man, and
it truly is.
I don't know. I mean, what more can we expect from you? I want to know, like, what is? I know I've asked you this already, but what is something that we can expect in the next year, 2 years?
It's a difficult question. I ask that question to people too. I think what you can expect is to see a happy fool, right, for sure.
All right.
But that's because I'm passionate, bro, about my life. You know what I mean? Like, life is a canvas, bro, and every day I wake up, like everything I do is I treat my life like art, and that's why I'm very like sensitive to shit. You know what I mean? And I'm a sensitive ass fool. I said it.
hey, it's cool to be sensitive, y'all.
It's good. Trip. Ladies love that too.
But even shit like that, bro. I mean, I'm gonna be 30 this year, and it's like, old. Yeah, I know, right? It's like,
don't worry about it. I'm in the same club. I got you.
Like it takes time, bro, to embrace who you are.
It does.
So what you can see of me is me embracing more of me. Because that's how you tap into your superpowers, bro. And that's how you like your vibes, bro. They go fucking high as hell when you're you, bro. Because like if we really think about everything that happens in the world, they're constantly telling you not to be you.
Correct.
Everyone.
They want you to be molded.
They want you to conform to whatever the ideal is for like the common person.
And coming from school, you see that. You see that mold that they're trying to put you in. So it's crazy.
Schools to me are like literal prisons. Yeah. And I'm a corrections officer. But I've been trying to tell people.
So how do you deal with that? Knowing that they have a conformity that they want you to follow, how is it that you go about it? Like, all right, I know that I have to do this a certain way, but I know I'm gonna fucking change it this way, so I get to do it. But how do you come about that?
Yeah, what's your approach?
So my current approach is playing the game. Like, I have to play the game in order to be able to use the game, because the game has a lot of power, a lot of accessibility, a lot of wealth, and if you're there, you can redirect it, right? If I have the power to craft the mountain a certain way, then the water, right, when it rains, it's gonna go where I want it to go.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why I'm saying, you can expect me to still be playing the game, but like there's a purpose though.
Yeah.
The purpose is to benefit myself, my family, and always the community.
Right.
Like if I get a bag, like people get that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't get stuck under my bed in my fucking favorite shoebox. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm a very generous person, and I live that way because, like 5-6 years ago, it goes way behind that. I had an English teacher like sophomore year at HP, and he just, he briefly talked to me about like whatever you put in comes out. So if you give more, you get more. Whether you're giving money, you're giving food, you're giving energy, whatever it is. And so like just kind of like applying it to today, maybe like 4 years ago, I read a book by Tony Robbins, and he was on his last $10, and he gave up those $10 to somebody that needed food. And his idea was, I mean, if I say that I'm gonna wait to be rich in order to give more, I'm lying to myself. Like, if you want to give more, you're gonna give more today,
right?
And then obviously, if you get more, then you're gonna give more,
right?
But if you're a tight ass fool, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand why a lot of people are tight. Some of them went through poverty, and so it's really hard for them to kind of develop an abundance mindset.
Right.
That's another chapter in the next book. But yeah, it's important that we're generous now as much as possible, especially to each other.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there's no way I'm ever, like, we're hanging out. Oh, dude, I don't have money for a meal. Don't trip.
Yeah.
Dude, listen. I know I harp on this a lot, but this man's been my friend for a very, very long time. I would say, half of our lives we've been friends.
Sheesh.
Yeah, bro.
Never have we ever gone out where it's like, oh, man, I got $10. That's all I got today. He would be like, save it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I got you.
My favorite go-to line is like, I didn't ask you that. Yeah, I didn't ask
Dude,
you that.
in high school, it would be like, oh, man, after practice or before practice, we're going to go eat. What do you want to do? Let's go to Carl's Jr. Let's go to Pete's. You know what, dude? I don't have shit today. Like, don't trip. We'll do it. Nah, I said we're gonna go eat, bro.
Yeah, I didn't.
Let's go eat.
I would never. My whole thing is kind of like you were saying, dude. It's. I don't expect anything back in return. If I do expect anything, it's like if it's just to keep your word. If you say something, if you say you're gonna do something, you know what I mean? Like that's all I care about. Like money comes and goes, bro. Like I can make money, I can lose money. It doesn't matter to me. Like the thing that matters to me more is like, I don't know. I guess I'm old school. I was raised by a lot of cholos. You get me? So like for me, it's like you have to keep your word. Your word is your bond, and like you have to really stick to it. And that's what mattered more to me. My grandparents put a little bit more into me on that too. Like socially being out there because they would go to Mexico and come back, and for them it's like you have to. Before phones and before Instagram, you had to communicate with people, and growing up with them, like that was it, and learning like what it took what it took more to be successful, and like how you were saying is just just being more, giving more, and not expecting all of that. You know what I mean? Like, and for me, money and all that shit doesn't mean anything to me. Truly, I mean, it does because money gives you the level of happiness that you want. But at the same time, it's like you have to look at it as like, bro, I can make more tomorrow. I'm healthy, and that's what truly matters, and I can make more of that. It's not a big deal. It's really not. And
I think it goes along with building a brotherhood, man.
Yeah, dude.
With especially like not only with friends, but just people that you just meet. It's building that brotherhood and understanding of like, hey, man, how you doing? This is what I do. How can I help you?
Yeah.
And you're not exactly saying how can I help you. It's more of what can I do for you, man? Like how can we make our relationship beneficial for both of us and beneficial for everybody around us. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, especially nowadays, where it's like everybody wants to outshine the person next to them.
It's social media, bro.
And I've never understood that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why could you do that when you can, like you said, create that space where you had and let everybody shine?
Right.
Why is that not more important than just, oh man, I'm gonna put my ego ahead of everybody and it's gonna be me that shines, not you. When I would rather, and I'm sure I could speak for you and him, I want us to shine.
Oh, yeah,
because that's the objective. Easy. Hey, man, if I'm going to eat, you're going to eat. We're all going to eat, bro.
Bro, there's so many, like, Tyler Perry movies that I can bring into the situation where it's like, I don't know the title of it, but there was one where the lady owned, like, a restaurant, right? And she would always give this guy free food. Like, always. And the daughters and everyone would always give her shit. Like, why are you giving away food? Like, you're struggling right now. You're trying to figure it out. Like, why are you doing that? But at the end of the movie, essentially, is like he used to be, I don't know if it was like a big-time stockbroker or a big-time lawyer or something like that. But essentially, he was feeding her information while she was feeding him. Does that make sense? Yeah. And at first, I didn't realize it. Like, that's what she was doing. And, yeah, dude, and that's just how it is. And like that's one that I related to this right now. It's like you may be like in today's society, people expect so much that even just as long as that person is happy, like that's more than what you can ask for. So it's crazy, bro, how society nowadays is. But there's a lot of good foods out there that like to help out their community and like really don't expect anything in return. And I'm happy that you're one of them, bro. Like you truly seem like you do care about everyone that you encounter. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and to speak to one of your earlier points, like your family teaching you the power of like keeping your word, that is wealth.
Yeah, bro.
Because like if you really think about it, like to me, relationships matter way more than a check.
Yeah.
In fact, it's those relationships that could potentially even make you even more money in the future.
Exactly.
But if you don't know how to keep your word,
That's
like
big,
how
bro.
much of a man can you really be? Or a man as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or whatever
Or a
you
fool.
other foolies are doing these days.
I think Tupac hit it on the head when he had said, when it comes to certain situations where people can't hold their word, it's like I'm never gonna hold any animosity. I'm never gonna be like mad at you type thing. I'm just gonna look at it as like I know your worth now, and I want you to succeed and do everything you want, but I just don't want you at my table. I want you to eat. I want you to do all that stuff, just not at my table. Like that right there is like when he had said that, I was like, bro, I might be quoting it wrong, but that's essentially what he was saying. And I was like, bro, like that right there is key. Like I'm not gonna hold a grudge. You don't like me, cool. You don't like me, or if you messed up on me, I know who not to rely on. So that's where I'm staying away from. If you ever need me, hey, by all means, hit me up. If you need like advice or whatever, I'll be there. Because I'm not that type of a dick to be like, bro, like you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's like I know who to stay away from when it comes to certain things now, because you're not reliable. And like Dom, I literally asked Dom, dude, just show up, let's do this, and we're good. Like, and he's been doing his part, and bro, we've been growing, and it feels really good because we've been getting a lot of feedback because of that. And he's been keeping his word. He's a man of his word. He's a fool of his word. So that's, you know what I mean. So that's cool. Yeah. And shout out to my grandparents for that, bro.
You know, my dad. I don't like to put his business out that much, but my dad's a veterano. My dad was, from somewhere, was from that place for a long, long time. He was. He always says, I wasn't a gangbanger. I was a gangster. And there's a difference.
Yeah, I feel that.
What is the difference?
The way he describes it is, I ran around and acted a fool. Don't get me wrong. But I tried to make my community better, whether it was through keeping stuff out of the body or what have you. He just was like, dude, it was more than just, I don't like these certain people because they're across the street. It was, I may not like you, but what can we do to make this life better for all of us and for the people that live here, even though we fucking hate each other. Mm-hmm. And going back on like talking about having your word, it was, if I tell you something, I mean it. And if I fucking press you about it, you better know I mean it. Yeah. So like he kind of used that as a parenting tool where it's like, look, dude, I'm not telling you this because I'm telling it to you. It's because you need to understand that later in life, it's going to mean something. And if you can't grasp it now, you're not going to grasp it later.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Man, you fools are dropping gems right now.
It's like, I'm telling you, man, my mom, I give her like 100% credit because she stood by my dad they've been married for, almost 40 years. And she was like, all the bullshit that they've been through, that man has always, he's very respected. He's in a car club. He's in the car club community. He's not somebody you walk by and you're just like, oh, hey, what's up? It's, oh, hey, Sapo, how you doing? It's nice to see you. How's the family? This and that. And he'll always downplay it where it's like, nah, it's what it is. But, I love my dad for that because he's a respected man. And you don't just hand that out to people.
Oh, no.
And the way that he describes it is he's just like, look, man, I'm going to be the man I'm going to be. You're going to be the man you're going to be. We're going to figure it the fuck out. If you're going to be the way you are, cool. But I'm going to be the way I'm going to be. And I'm going to show you the kind of man that I am. So I always try to portray and at least try to show this little one behind us that that's how it's going to be, man. No one's going to hand you anything out in this life. No one's going to tell you what's right from wrong. You got to figure this shit out. You're going to stumble and you're going to fall. But the minute you pick yourself up, that's how you know what kind of person you're going to be.
There's beauties in the struggle. You know what I mean? That's good, man. I love that. Your dad's dope, bro. I can see you into that, bro. That's sick.
I love that man to death.
Like, yeah, bro. It's crazy, bro, because I feel like a lot of this generation now, we have to kind of give that to them because I feel like a lot of them are lacking that, which is word is everything, bro. Because I know I don't know, bro. It's crazy because I think the most people I've ever been let down from has just been people that have not kept their word. Like a stranger has held more value to me than someone I've known for like years, and it's crazy, bro. That word is bond, bro. And it sucks that a lot of people don't know that. They just say, oh yeah, I'll do it, and then they don't do it or whatever the case may be. Sometimes we do it to ourselves if we're honest, like sometimes like I'll sit there and I'll be like, oh man, I'm gonna hit the gym tomorrow and I don't do it, but I know if work says you got to be there at 9, I'll pull up. You get what I mean? But I have to keep that word to myself, and we have to keep that word to ourselves. And I think I'm happy that we're discussing that right now because a lot of people really need to hear that, because there's someone right now watching this and listening that's just like, man, you know what? Like I'm gonna cut that fool off, man. I realize that he's really not putting in his word or whatever the case may be. And it's like, hopefully this is a message to you guys that word is key in everything.
Yeah, bro. Pull up for yourself like you pull up for work.
Yeah, exactly,
every
bro.
single day.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of jobs really don't care about you, but how are you there? Like stressing out and putting your best years behind a job.
Yeah.
When you can do for self.
Yeah.
And once you start doing for self, again, you start tapping into some of your superpowers.
Yep.
Where like we don't need to beg, you know, oppressors forever to feed our children crumbs.
No.
We don't have to, but those are the big ideas that have really pushed us, at least like politically, right? It's like, well, you need to vote here because otherwise you're not gonna get government cheese.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like fair. People need to eat.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, at what point are we gonna like move on from that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting closer to that, man. It's getting closer where we don't need that.
Yeah, bro. It's just, I think if I can sit here and say something as far as for like that kind of growth that we are missing, and it's just a lot of people are not in their communities like how you are or other individuals are, because a lot of people nowadays, they're just antisocial. You know, they're social on apps, but they're not social. Exactly.
Fake social.
Exactly.
They're doing this every 10 seconds just to make sure, oh man, okay, cool. What that little thing I did got 5 million views, but it's one little thing.
Yeah.
When all the major things can be done behind closed doors.
Yeah,
Because
bro.
yes, I understand getting recognition. I understand, you know, all that, but it's like the fulfillment of just, hey man, you know, I helped a group of people today.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody knows about it, but for me, like you said, when you do it for self, that's when you know that you're really trying to do something for other people. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah, bro. I think that's one of the things that you know, leading back to that, which was a lot of people are not active in their communities. But the thing too, it's like, you know how you said the oppressor kind of thing. It's like people are working really hard to get out of certain situations that they forget that the thing that matters most is the community, the home, and everything like that. That I know finances and everything is what we all need to keep and do all that. But I feel if people had a little bit more time, instead of working those 60 hours and cutting it back a little bit and realizing, you know what, I have a life at home. I have people that I really want to inspire. Like if people did more of that and instead of focusing on the possessions, I guess you could say, and focus more on opening other people's eyes and really getting together with the community. And I think we could be able to do exactly what you were talking about. But it's just crazy, bro, how we lost sight of that in a way. You know what I mean? Because we got so busy on social media and trying to impress other people with whatever we just bought. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is why I'm happy that we're having the podcast, because I've said this a million times, but the Checked In podcast is to bring people together, to have those deep conversations that people need, those one-on-ones type of things, right? And the community needs that too. You know, and hopefully this is a message that we can send to them and maybe open some people's eyes or some foo's eyes and really like sit there and be like, man, like that was a good listen. I really need people to I really need to inspire people. You know what I mean? And I'm happy. And I wanted to ask you, I'm kind of diverting a little bit, but I wanted to ask you, like, what, I know you have 7 chapters, correct? Is that what okay.
Correct.
So I know this is going to be a hard one to ask. I'm sure you might have one, but out of all the chapters, which one would you say you are like, I want people to really, really resonate to this one, or your favorite one per se? Because I know that's a tough question, because it's like the whole thing is your favorite. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But like, which one can you sit there and say, look, like this one right here is one that.
So I'm gonna give you top 2. I'm gonna give you top 2.
Give me top 2.
And I think
that's
it's,
good. I can
it's fair
accept
because
that.
out of 7,
I can say
I can
that.
give you top 2.
Yeah.
Top 2. We'll start with number 1, like embracing your trauma. That's super key. Because, like, I have definitely suffered from all sorts of, like, mental situations.
Right.
And whether it was depression, whether it was anxiety, like, I've been crippled by these things. And when you are in that space, you're not going to make any friends. You're sure as hell not going to fall in love with somebody. Right. The worst thing is you're not even going to be able to fall in love with yourself.
Yeah, bro.
Right, which is really like one of the key stepping stones to becoming a sick ass fool is like loving yourself first. You gotta love yourself first, fools. And so you gotta learn how to work through all the fucked up shit that you've like lived through.
Yeah.
And we all have like hella trauma.
Oh yeah.
hella trauma, especially coming from like the backgrounds that we have with the families and fathers that we've had, and in some cases the moms, right?
Yeah.
And so like, take it however you can. Look, it could be talk therapy, it could be group therapy, it could be running, it could be lifting, it could be meditation, it could be like becoming a Christian. I don't care how you do it. But the thing is that if you don't start working through your trauma, you're never gonna grow to love yourself, to see the value in the community, right? And that's why motherfuckers be killing each other, because they don't love themselves.
Yeah, bro.
Because if they did, they'd be able to see each other and everybody.
That's where insecurity is kicking a little bit too.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. And then number 2, I would just say, like, we have a lesson on following your heart. Following your heart for me is super, super important, because even though the reasoning and being an intellectual and all that shit matters, that's what most of Western society is built upon. It's all just reason and mind, but that detaches us from our gut and our heart and our spirit. But in order to thrive, you need to have some type of balance between all those different mechanisms that are happening within you. And so for me, following my heart means like listening to my spirit. And really like moving in a way where I'm able to feed that energy, because that's what makes me like a dreamer, you know. That's what makes me follow my intuition. And your intuition is connected to your gut. You feel me? So like, so that's why for me, following your heart is so important, because it's my statement in telling basically the program, right, the matrix, etc., that you have a chokehold on me, but there's ways for me to escape it. Yeah, because in the physical realm you got me, but in the spiritual you don't. Right,
bro. That's so crazy.
That's a good way to see it.
I think if I can say that those are really good. Like I'm happy you chose those 2, because that is something that's really relatable. But it also kind of, I don't know, bro. Like I wanted to say this earlier and I wanted to bring it up now, which was, do you feel that a lot of individuals now lack a discipline? Because to get to those lessons that you're giving, it's like you have to have that discipline in you. How you're saying you have to love you, you have to find you have to deal with that trauma. It's like, do you feel a lot of people lack that discipline to really sit there and really not care about what people are going to say? Because in today's society, you know, what people's perspective on you socially, whatever the case may be, social media or whatever, it's like it's major to some people, where it just stops them from being disciplined to grow on some of those.
Man, that's a hell of a question. And there's a lot more things lacking. Like, we could get into a list of additional things that are lacking, but specifically discipline is important, bro. Because discipline is what pushes me to wake up at a certain time early on, and then get to work, and then you get all tired, right? And then you still gotta go home and like through the commute, and then do your workout, and then do the cooking, do the cleaning. And when you're a father, you got to do all that for an extra, right? And so, like, you know, Jocko Willink speaks, I love Jocko, candidly and in depth about discipline equaling freedom. And I'm a disciplined person to an extent. Like Candy, damn, like I lose it around Candy.
That's me with soda.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel
and
it.
like I don't believe in a perfect disciplinarian life. It seems out of touch with me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna be Jocko. I'm never gonna be what's the guy, the David Get Hard guy? Yeah. I'm never gonna be that, and I don't really want to be that. I want to be me. And me, I'm a lot more softer to myself. Right. But for me, bro, it looks like being accountable, working out like 2, 3, 4 times a week. You know, making sure that we're out there balling on Saturdays and Sundays. Definitely. And so, like, discipline looks different for everybody. Right. But definitely, bro, like, if you're in the hood, you don't really know about discipline. You know, because you wake up whenever you want. You might just be smoking weed all day. You might have several different baby mamas, right? And that's a whole discipline that I think, as men, we don't really talk about, because like we look at women and it's just like, your mind can wander and stuff. But like if you're disciplined, like you'll stick to your lady, your wife, etc. And vice versa, right? Like cheating goes all ways, but discipline matters, bro. From like when you wake up to your relationships, to your professional life, to your creative life, man, like discipline is key.
Okay,
I'm with you with that one.
Yeah, bro. I do feel a lot of people are lacking that nowadays. Like that's one thing that I can sit here and say, like, including to what everything else we were saying is those, keeping your word and discipline is something that I guess go hand in hand. But I wanted to ask you that because obviously there's 7 lessons and every lesson is different in their own way. But I just wanted to ask you that because I wanted to see what you felt on the discipline aspect. If you felt that there's a lot of people missing that to get things done.
That's a future chapter right there,
bro.
Hey,
Yeah,
bro.
That's I'll be excited to read that because I there's just so much, bro, that I want to ask you as far as for you being in education and stuff like that. How do you see? We spoke a little bit about the molding of kids and things like that. What is something that you yourself can sit here and say, well, I know for a fact that you were changing people's, looks on things, views on things, and like their mindset and everything. But what's something that you truly, truly are proud of that you're like, man, like I helped these kids in this, like change their view or whatever the case may be. What's something that you think like really, truly impacted other than just the conversations that you were having?
So I know for sure we've impacted a lot of students because after being in the game of education for about 7 years, like I still have students from 7 years back that come like mess with me. Like we'll have an event and they'll like pull up randomly and we'll like chop it up and it's like, bro, it's almost been a decade. Some like funny enough, bro, pandemic time 2021, there was a badass ska show in South Central out there in Watts. And I pulled up
a ska. What was it?
Ska.
What is that?
Ska is like, I mean, it's a genre of music.
I don't know how to describe
it. It's a lot of trumpets.
A lot of trumpets.
Okay.
So
I had to ask because I know there's someone else out there that's probably
ska,
thinking that.
punk, like they're very close. Punk rock is a lot more like
ska can be in Spanish too.
Yeah, I mean ska. We'll play some
more,
music after.
Okay. But it's more of like a festival type thing for music. Is that what it is?
It was a backyard show.
Okay, all right, cool.
It was a backyard ska show.
I had to ask. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I had to ask.
Have you ever been to a backyard show?
No, no, man. The closest
I think you should.
Yeah, so I'm excited. That's why I'm asking because I'm like, let me know what that is.
But you gotta either drink Bud Ices or Cobra.
Oh man, no Four Locos.
Hey man, we grown, man. You can drink whatever you want.
Nah, fuck that. You're gonna drink 211 like we used to.
All right, bro. Whatever. Pull it up, bro. Got some MDs in the back too. Let's go.
Oh, not the MDs.
Good times.
But no, proceed. I'm sorry.
So at that event, I'm having a good time.
Right.
And like I met like one of my ex students, and like we were chilling, bro. And so that is what I'm really proud of, bro, is that I built real lifelong relationships with humans who have often been dehumanized.
Right.
And so that's a flex. That's a real flex for me because like I was doing that work.
Yeah.
Let me see what else.
So is that like a sense of gratitude for you as to where like, okay, yeah, I molded this young person's mind, but not only that, I might have molded this person's heart to where like, not only did they see and acknowledge what they were going through, but now it's like, and later in life, they're like, hey, I don't know if they call you Jesus or JFlow, but they were like, look, Teach, you helped me through this time, and I don't know how else to say thank you, but thank you. Has that ever happened, or even if it hasn't happened, but do you still feel that kind of gratitude where it's like, I know you're not telling it to me, but I could see it in your eyes that you've changed?
I'll tell you a story, bro. So I had a junior, his name was Jaime, and this one time, this was in Watts, like we were watching a documentary, taking notes, stopping it, having conversations through it, and then this fool was having a whole blown ass conversation with the girl next to him, right? And I'm like, yo, Jaime, I'm trying to talk here, and he was like, don't you see I'm also trying to talk right now? It was like that reversal, Uno.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny, whatever. Obviously, it kind of like irritated me in the moment. But like the next year when he was no longer a senior, like he came back to campus and he's like, hey, mister, I just want to tell you, like, I know I was a fucking asshole in class and I'm sorry, I've grown a lot. And I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah, that's
like life after high school presses you a certain way.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Especially for like knuckleheads. And so I don't take it personal, bro. I don't take it personal. Just this past weekend on Friday, I had this girl, bro, cussing at me like
Fun.
everything possible at her highest level while I was having a conversation with parents. And she doesn't know how much I want her to succeed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, I was her greatest enemy.
Yeah.
And so like I can work with the fire, bro, because I've been burned by life so many times where like, bro, you could be shitting on me right now and I'm just like, oh, that's cool, bro.
Yeah,
Sure.
bro. That's wild, bro. It's crazy because that's a level of patience where I aspire to be. You know
Take
what I
it
mean?
on the
Like
chin,
I
bro.
have
It's
patience, bro, but everyone cracks at some point. But it seems like your patience is a lot, like you're more tolerable of a lot of things than I am. A lot more bullshit, I guess you could say, than I am because you're dealing
It depends, bro. It depends on
a lot
where
of
I'm at.
emotions.
It depends on where I'm at. When I'm working with kids, I have to
with.
because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
And I don't want to deal with like legal situations,
I feel it. Yeah,
right?
I feel that.
So you have to be professional,
right.
but at the same time you can bend the rules at times.
Right. Yeah. I have to ask you a very controversial question. I mean,
I'm down.
it may
I
be
like that.
it
I
may
like
be
hardcore
controversial.
questions.
All right. It may be controversial. It may not be. It may be a simple question to you. Since you deal with a lot of teachers and you're in the educational system, do you feel, now you can answer this or you don't have to, but do you feel like the teachers unions really restrict you in a certain way, or do they help you more than people think? Because there's a lot of controversy on that in the news, out in the media, and all this other stuff. Some teachers would say that the union's a great thing. Some teachers would say it's a bad thing, that it's restricting some teachers. Like, what would you give your insight, or as far as for your view, or your thought on what it is? Because like I said, it can be controversial. Some people may like to hear this. Some people may not like your response, or whatever the case, if you feel comfortable answering it.
They're both.
They're
I
both?
mean, they're both. Corporations and bosses and things of that nature, they are known for abusing people. You know what I mean? Yeah. So from that standpoint, you do need a union in order to be able to flex collective bargaining, collective power. That's important. That's like a basic human right. But where I disagree with the unions is how they protect shitty ass teachers, right?
Yeah.
And I came straight out of LAUSD, which means that I had majority of my teachers were trash.
Yeah.
But to kind of still have their back a little bit, I also had a lot of classes with a lot of fucking fools that didn't give a fuck. But it's all kind of like this cycle, bro. It feeds off of each other. Maybe you had a shitty teacher, and now your whole high school or entire school experience is going to be shitty because they abused you, they mistreated you, they treated you a certain way where now you're like, fuck this.
Oh, yeah, I can sit here and say that.
But also, maybe you had this really like super dope teacher that started working with a bunch of kids that just they couldn't vibe with each other, and then that darkened them as well, right? So there's this really deep cycle. So it's not so much like trying to blame, but I'm someone who seeks solutions, right?
Right.
So for me, I would say the solution to all of that is treating people with humanity, decency, and respect, and also providing them a living wage. So I don't think that the unions are necessary, but that's idealistic. That's me as a boss. And everybody's boss is not gonna be cool as fuck,
right?
You know. So the thing is that working with charters, you have a lot more flexibility and creativity to really change education versus working at a traditional place. They're not gonna let you.
Yeah.
Their regulations, their procedures, their routines, all of that, they're too embedded in like just the traditional way of going about education. And so school's outdated. I mean, it's kind of a sinking ship. The institutions are falling.
See, that's the beacon of light towards go find your information. It's out there for you. Yeah, your teachers are going to do their best they can, but just
find a great teacher too.
That too. And it's me personally, I'm a guy that I need to know things. Whether it's dumb or it's something that's happened in the news, whether I have to know, especially if it like catches my attention, I have to like, I'll be there for hours deep diving on. I was big in like medical journals for a long time, so I would just read medical journals. People do it. I think I talked about this before. My mom wanted to be a coroner, so she would always have stuff around like books and stuff like that. So I would just read through them. I'm a kid. My dad he got me a 42 edition encyclopedia. I read that.
I thought you were gonna say 42 Magnum or some shit. I was like, bro.
And that. Not or.
Like I said, I'm not big on education as like a school point, but like furthering your knowledge is something that I believe is key. Because like people always used to tell me, "Oh, you're a smart kid." Like I don't understand why you suck at school. Like I'm not smart. I'm intelligent, maybe. I might be knowledgeable. But am I smart? Like, can I follow your curriculum? No, because it doesn't suit me. What you're trying to teach me isn't what my brain is accepting. Which, I mean, that's kind of radical to say it that way, but it's more of like, you're not teaching me the way that I'm built to be taught. And it's hard. I think that if you can back me up on that, it's hard to kind of find out how to teach a group of kids without breaking some eggs.
Yeah.
Because you got to understand that there's going to be tough times. There's going to be things where it's like, oh, dude, I can't help you. But there might be a way for you to help yourself outside of class, and I might be able to help you do that. And I feel like if more teachers can have that type of mentality where it's, you're not just straight on, this is what we're going to learn. It's more of how can I broaden this, view of knowledge so that my students can fucking understand what the hell I'm even trying to teach them.
Yeah.
And I feel like if more, like, because you're talking about the unions and stuff, and I'm sure that, I don't know the backstory of it all, but like, do they have to make you teach a certain way, or is it just that that's the union and that's how they are?
Yeah, bro. So schooling kills creativity.
Thank you.
It was created and designed in a way to
Rockefellers, no?
Yeah,
right.
To kill the human spirit.
Yeah.
Versus education. Education is liberation. Right. So that's the point that you're teaching, and there's curriculums that must be basically followed to the T. Now, if you have a dope administration, they can allow you and be like, hey man, we're gonna work through this. Let's get creative, like hit the standards, but now you can teach whatever you want to teach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, is that what you're saying? Where you like to bend the rules?
Right, and that's where I'm at now. I'm in a place where like I'm trying to find the hustlers. I'm trying to find the young, teachers that want to smoke.
Right.
So I could give you the freedom to get all the smoke you want, and really like, be revolutionary with your education.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, bro. It sucks because we're pretty much out of time for the most part, but I really do want to extend the offer. If you ever do want to come back, by all means, we can get deeper into those conversations.
For sure.
That would be something that I would truly love to have. But I just wanted to say, if you can let people know where they can find your book.
Plug everything.
Plug everything right now so people can really get to know you. Your socials and everything, you can say them. I'll put them, everything as far as for your book and everything will be in the description so people can find that right away.
Yep.
But where is it that you can find your book?
What up at Fools Gone Educated family? You can find me at Fools Gone Educated. That's my IG. You can also find our website, www.foolsgoneeducated.com. You could type in this fool into Google, and you will find my book on Amazon. It's probably the first or second link. You can also find our book at the Achuchas. You can find our book at your local nearest dope bookstore. But with that being said, stay tapped in and you will be able to have access to the philosophy gang, the philosophy family. But yeah, man, Fools Gone Educated. That is our tag. Hit us up. If you have any questions, we're there to check you out.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day and coming on here. Again, the offer stands. You can come on back whenever you like. Just give us a heads up, and everyone would love to have you back on. But I want to get deeper into some conversations.
Yeah, on, man. Like I said, I've wanted to have this conversation with you for a long time. So
he's a chill ass fool.
I'm so glad we had this conversation.
Thanks for having me on your table, guys.
With that being said, guys, thank you guys for really, really getting involved and checking in with us. If you guys can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell right now.
Add a girl.
Comment below what was your favorite section of this. And if you've already ordered the book or if you've already read it, comment down below what is your favorite chapter and what resonates more with you guys. Yeah, guys, with that being said, thank you so much, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
It was a blast. Peace, power, and pozole.